All right, everybody. Good afternoon. All right, my name's Sahar. This is Greg. We are here to have a healthy intellectual, we've been calling it a debate. It's going to be a bit of an intellectual mind meld, and it's going to be collective. So I expect you all to participate.
I would not raise the bar too high, at least for me.
That's fine.
Intellectual, maybe not. You, yes.
Come as you are.
Okay, fine.
It is a safe space. We're locking the doors and we're calling it a safe space. All right? So we're gonna have our opening remarks, which is gonna be my spiel, Greg's spiel. We might zing at each other a little bit and we'll see how that works out. And then we're gonna open it up to you all, because really your minds are just as important as ours in this collective conversation we're having about AI and not losing our minds. I'm going to start off with a quote from the grave of Daniel Kahneman. May he rest in peace. He is still the only psychologist to win a Nobel Prize, and he is from UC Berkeley, my home university, so go Bears. And he has this really interesting, famous quote about thinking, which is his thing. He studied thinking. And he says, thinking is to humans as swimming is to cats. They can do it, but they would prefer not to. Now listen. What Danny's talking about here and referring to is something that is endemic to all human biology. Human beings are designed for shortcuts, everybody. Biologically, we are all designed for shortcuts, meaning you are going to be naturally inclined to want to, for example, eat foods that are highly caloric. They're delicious to us for a reason, because food has historically been scarce. It's a lot of work to go hunt down a buffalo, right? Now you can just go get a bison taco, like down on Congress. It's great. Like, things are so much easier now. But the point here is that we are designed for shortcuts. And AI is the ultimate shortcut for what exactly? Thinking. So when I have students, I have execs, I have people from all around the world asking me, like, okay, so what is it that, what alarm are you sounding about this? The alarm is that I know we're going to take the shortcut. We're designed to take the shortcut. We have to. We will. It's not a matter of if. And AI is the ultimate shortcut. So the urgent question that I would like all of us to contribute to answering is, are we going to lose our minds to AI? And I believe we are at risk of that. So let's look at some of the historical data on not necessarily AI. We're at the beginning of this revolution, but we've already been through one. Social media, smartphone technology. We already have seen what it looks like for our attention spans to be uniquely impaired. In case you all are not familiar with this data, did you know that short-form content, I'm talking TikTok-style swipies, short-form reels and content uniquely impact memory? You think, by the way, and I have totally, this has happened to me personally as well. I downloaded TikTok just to see what all the hype was about. And then 3 days later, my husband had to intervene, be like, you do realize you're the anti-screen time lady, and what's happening? I'm like, I'm learning so much about Mongolia, I can't stop. And you feel like you're learning, you're being exposed to the world and all these new interesting things. But I dare you, by the way, if you have a problem with the scrolling and your mind's already been taken in this realm, I'm gonna give you one dare to take home. And for those of you who are parents with teenagers, you're gonna take this dare home to your teens. Have them scroll, have yourself scroll, put the phone down and repeat what you learned. Recall it. I dare you. I dare you. Try to remember 15 scrolls back. What did you see that was so awesome and amazing? You won't. This is the mirage. And again, our brains are uniquely designed to fall for it. That's all. So it's not you. It's not your kids. It's all of us. This is just, you have people like me, by the way, who study brains, who are collectively duping everybody else. We're designing it that way on purpose. And by the way, if you're like, listen, I don't need an attention span. I don't need memory anymore. I have everything I need in my pocket. I can just tee up all the information. No problem. Your brains are atrophying. All of our brains are atrophying. And by the way, again, I'm not even talking about necessarily AI use. I'm literally talking about smartphone addiction. We're literally seeing a reduction in gray matter. We are seeing reductions in the muscle of the brain. In case you all are curious, so if you read headlines in the future, I want everyone here, so I get into professor mode, sorry, Greg.
Go for it.
White matter is the fat, gray matter is the muscle. You need both, but at the end of the day, as a meat eater, if you're looking at a steak, yes, the marbling is important, but the meat's the meat, all right? So if you're interested in, you're very, very concerned, gray matter is what we need to be concerned about, is what I'm saying. That's your personality. That's your executive function. That's where all of the meat of your mind is. That's you. The stuff that makes you you is there. And that is exactly the areas that we're atrophying. We are losing brain tissue in areas of the brain responsible for self-awareness, for memory, and on top of that, cognitive control. So we have an entire generation of the human species that is literally less able to be aware of what's going on with them. Like, I don't know what's happening for me. I'm less able to regulate and even control myself and my mind, and my feelings for that matter. This is really, really frightening stuff. And this is, I would say, very, very scary, especially for parents in the room, but it needs to be said. This is hard news to swallow. Gen Z, and these are my students right now, are the first generation in the history of human history where we've actually been measuring this stuff, that actually are less cognitively capable than their parents and their grandparents. Every single generation has been smarter than the next, until Gen Z. I know I can hear all the way. It's a hard pill to swallow, but the truth must be talked about. We have to wake up and look at the data, and we have to look at what the reality of the situation is. And let me be clear, because I also get asked this question a lot. It's not genetic. No, our babies weren't born any different than the previous ones. It is just a matter of what we do. What are we doing with our minds? And I have to say, it's not necessarily about what technology is doing to us. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit before I hand it off to Greg. It's what it's taking away. It's not what it's doing to us, it's what it's taking away. So now that you have this machine that can essentially think for you, one needs to ask the question, how might we then position ourselves in such a way where we don't lose the capability to think in the first place, where we don't become a collective sheeple, essentially, to all of this. This is just a brief introduction to myself. I've been studying human brains for almost 20 years now, and my specific specialty is in something called cognitive neuroplasticity or cognitive training. So essentially, I study how to make superhumans. I did that before AI, and now we're studying AI, and we're studying the impact of AI. Just this semester, I launched a class at Berkeley called Mind, Machine, and Meaning. Folks, I asked for the biggest room they could give me on campus. They gave me 450 seats. The class sold out before the semester even started. Students are clamoring to figure out what the heck to do because they feel it. They're aware. And I really think it's important, especially for parents, to understand this. No, they know. They don't want to hear it from you, by the way, but they know. They know. They're well aware that it feels not so great inside of their minds. They get it. And this particular class that I want to talk about is a living experiment. It's a unique class. It's a weird class. We keep Austin weird. Berkeley's also your fellow sister in weird. So let me talk about this class for a second. It's a living experiment in the sense that it's not just a, hey, come to class, I'm going to teach you some stuff. No. I'm a scientist. So that's 450 data points and petri dishes that are sitting in my classroom. Not dissimilar in size to this room, by the way. So we baseline test every student's cognitive abilities and psychological metrics before the class started. So everybody got to class. I had my little spiel about the sword of science and how we are at war and they're losing this war for sure, and how we need to look at where we're at today. So everyone's going to come into the lab and we're going to test their attention spans. We're going to test their memory. We tested their general fluid intelligence, and we tested them on every psychological metric they would pretty much let me test. And let me give you the breakdown. Loneliness, anxiety, depression, life satisfaction, sense of meaning and purpose. You name it, we tried to throw it at them in terms of psychological metrics. And now we're changing their relationship with technology, and we're about to go into testing right after spring break. But I promised you also, by the way, thank you for those who voted for this panel on Panel Picker, because I promised y'all something. I promised Greg something. And that is unpublished data that nobody in the world knows about. So you all who are here live are going to hear this first. By the way, this is my favorite part of science. It's like it's a collective secret, right? And I've been like, I'm like literally have goosebumps. I've been dying I've been sitting on this, and I've been so excited to fly out here to tell you all, because that was my promise to you, that you get to be the first in the entire world to hear about something. I know. And in case you wanted to know what hot mess was in the background of looking at this, these were the late nights at Berkeley, right? And that up there is Jay, and he's on the team, but he's one of the students in the actual class. So he was able to like look at his own brain data, and he was like, oh no. But he's a data scientist, so it's really hard. It's a complicated process. Anyway, the point is, I have 3 insights to share with you. The first one, it turns out people who are addicted to their phones and social media are 30% more likely to become cognitively dependent. And by that, by the way, we mean cognitive surrender. I mean, you give yourself away. Take me now, AI. Who am I to think in comparison to you? 30% is a ridiculously high correlation and significance here in the data. That means if you feel like you have a funky monkey relationship with either scrolling or you have a funky monkey relationship with, by the way, let's be honest, like I'm looking to the adults in the room, it's not for us, it's oftentimes not scrolling, it's email. Do you have to check it one last time before you go to bed? Is the first thing you check even on a Saturday morning? Yeah, okay. It's the same thing, folks, it's digital dependence. So if you're already experiencing digital dependence, you're more likely to be dependent on AI. And it's really important to harp on this one last point, even when the AI is wrong. Even when the AI is wrong. That means when we pose to the students, we allow them to work with AI and we put in fake wrong information, they can't tell. Again, take me now, AI. It's cognitive surrender. The second thing that emerged in the data, 2 traits that make people susceptible to relying on AI for specifically companionship and connection. And the heartbreaking truth, the heartbreaking questions we were asking here is like, do you feel like your AI understands you better than your best friend? Does it understand you better than your family? When something's happening for you, are you more likely to turn to it than you are to, again, friends and family in your community? And the answer was a resounding yes for 2 categories of students. The lonely ones. No surprise there, but it still breaks my heart. The second is really scary. Wow, so many phones came up to take a picture of that one. It's great, it's important. That one it's not obvious, but listen, what college student doesn't lack a little bit of purpose? We're supposed to at that age. Are you kidding? We're trying to find our purpose. We're trying to find our passion and find our calling. And this technology is preying on exactly those young people who are in this awkward middle moment in their lives. The third one, this is where I wanted to end on some good news. One cognitive trait was the only protector that showed up in the data that actually seemed to stave off. And this was in the pictures I was showing, and it was hard to see, but it was this beautiful blue streak in a sea of red. In a sea of hot garbage mess, there was like a few blue squares in the data set, and it was like, oh, wait, what's that? And the one protector is mindfulness. Adults that score higher in mindfulness seem to be immune in a very fascinating way to both cognitive dependence, cognitive surrender to AI, but also leaning AI for connection and companionship. So if you were to push on one area of your own mind, if you were to exercise something, I would urge you all to really focus in on mindfulness. And for those, let me just define mindfulness, because I see some like scrunched faces. Yes, mindfulness doesn't necessarily mean shave your head and move to a mountainside and start meditating for 10 hours a day. All right? Mindfulness means mental presence. It means, are you here? Are you here with me right now? Like, seriously, are you here in this moment? Or are you all now checking your text messages, I see? Okay? Are you making notes? Yeah, okay. Are you here? When you're in a conversation with someone, are you here? Are you here? That's all. That's what that means. And this trait of mindfulness seems to be the big cognitive protector in this. And more good news, it's a trainable skill. You're not born with a certain amount of mindfulness that carries through your life. It's a trainable skill like any other. I've spent many, many years training this skill myself in my lab and outside of my lab. That mental presence, again, is a trainable skill. So, okay, I don't harp on good news much, all right? This is something Greg and I have in common. We're kind of both like fear mongers. We're just in different domains and we disagree a lot, but we're just sort of like, what's the bad news? Who are we fighting here, all right? So back to the bad news. It's not what the tech is doing. I cannot harp on this one enough. This is probably my most critical piece of advice and my biggest hypothesis to share with you all. It's what it's removing. And the thing it's removing is effort. When we are scrolling, for example, we'll focus there because we all have that shared experience already. I get to swipe the moment a piece of content is not mildly interesting or fascinating to me. The moment it doesn't hit, I go, swipe, I'm done with you, shh. Listen, I have some other folks here. How many folks here are married? Yeah, all right. Those who didn't raise your hands, talk to the people around you. You can't swipe on your spouse, but there will be plenty of moments and times where you kind of want to. And really my point is everything good in life, and everything good in life is behind a great deal of effort. Everything that I've ever experienced that's worth being proud of in my own life is behind an all-nighter, a big push, pushing myself, challenging myself, a really important conversation, stepping outside of my comfort zone. And my fear here is, and I see it in my own students, they didn't lose it. No, scratch that. They didn't lose it. We stole it from them. They never got a chance to develop being uncomfortable. They didn't get a chance to say, listen, this is what's on TV, all right? That's it. That's it, buddy. Or no, you can't go anywhere. This is it. We've removed the effort. But all good things are behind that. And now AI is removing a shitload more effort out of the one area that I think makes us truly, uniquely, beautifully human, and it's our ability to think. And I think it's gonna be a shit show. I asked my students this question, and I thought maybe many of you might be interested in this. And this is, again, at the #1 public university in the entire world. What percentage of your peers do you estimate are no longer actively participating in their education? This is anonymously, I asked this, all right? It said 50%. It's half. And for those of you, by the way, maybe like Greg, I'm an employer as well, I'll be honest, all right? And if you're just thinking well, this is not really going to impact me. It's not my problem. Gen Z is going to be 30% of the workforce in 4 years. These will be our future leaders, like every generation. We got to do something about it. So my final statements here, I'd like you all to start to think about your brains just like any other muscle in your body, all right? Use it or lose it. That concept has always been true with the body, right? If anyone here has ever broken a bone, you know what I'm talking about. If you get a limb casted for 6 months, when you take that cast off, it's a little smaller than the other one. It's atrophied. It's supposed to do that. It's a beautiful biological system. Well, the brain is the same way. So if you don't use certain brain muscles, if you don't use and flex them and put effort in and exercise those brain areas, they will in fact atrophy. And we are set up for that essentially atrophying quickly. But optimistically, I do think we're at the beginning of this. I mean, seriously, look at the sheer number of sessions on AI here at South by this year. This is the moment. We're at the beginning. It's like that roller coaster at the top where you're about to do this thing. We're all taking a big inhale and we're about to go in together. And no, nobody has a magical crystal ball to tell you what's going to happen in the future. We're collectively designing it together. I don't think anyone needs to lose their minds. I think it will be a choice. I don't think it needs to happen. I think we can continue to use AI, but choose to not let those muscles atrophy and to keep putting in effort in the thinking department. All right, thank you all for your attention.
I feel compelled to tell the story about how I met Sahar. I wasn't going to, but it'll take a minute. But you need to know how I met this woman. She's amazing, obviously. So my wife thought I had ADHD about 10 years ago. Because I was sitting in the kitchen, probably, scrolling, working, and saying, and then she said, what did I just say? Right, one of those moments. She said, you have ADHD, you should go sort that out. So I found this ADHD adult experts in Silicon Valley. 2 doctors out of Stanford have a clinic, charge $5,000 for adults to go in and figure out if they have ADHD. So I said, sure, I'll do that. Went to the first intake session, 2 hours, talked to the guy for 2 hours, he goes, yeah, you got ADHD. Come back and take the tests. And then we'll confirm, and then I'll give you that'll be the diagnosis, and then I'll give you the solution. I go back and take the tests. The tests are basically you sit in front of a computer screen for a couple hours and just pay attention. It's the test they give kids, same test for adults currently. Okay, did that. Went back to the third time, $5,000, right? Third time. He goes, it's really weird. You don't have ADHD. You were fantastic. You're like, your focus is great. But He said, you intend to keep working? I'm going to work for 10, 15 more years. He goes, I got a solution for that. Here's Adderall. I'll give you a prescription. He's like, this stuff is great. It's not addictive. Just stay on it until the day you retire, and then go off it then. And you're just going to get a 10% boost, at least, in your cognitive performance. So I went home, prescription in hand, like, hey, this is kind of funky. I don't know, like, really, Adderall? And I was telling a friend the story, and the friend said, that's insane, that's key. Call this woman, Zahar. She's at Berkeley. She studies brains, and she helps people figure out.
Got it. Do I? Okay.
Oh.
So I called Zahar. Her first business model, do you mind if I tell the story?
Go for it.
Her first business model was she and her research team rented a house in the Oakland Hills. And for another $5,000, you could go work for a week at the house in the Oakland Hills. Bring your laptop. They had an office. They had whiteboards. They had a kitchen. They had a gym with workout equipment in the gym. And they basically said, we're going to study you. We're going to basically study and coach you for 1 week to improve your cognitive performance. Total racket. I mean, like, at 11 o'clock, they came in and gave me 7, almonds, and stuff like this. Really, it was ridiculous, right? Didn't work. But then she figured it out. That was the old business. She's got a new business now. She's crushing it. The company's called Becoming Superhuman. And as you can tell, she teaches at Berkeley. I have one question for you. Those funky monkey, is that a scientific term?
Oh, totally,
Yeah,
totally.
okay. All right. Listen, I'm the villain today. A, hard act to follow, and B, I'm following as the villain. I'm the CEO. I'm the AI CEO. 7-time. This is my 7th startup that I've been CEO of. The urgent question that I'm here to answer is a different one. Is it good for business if some of us lose our minds? She's trying to save the world. I'm trying to retire. Let's be honest. I need to get out of Dodge before it's too late. Okay. So let me zoom out. Here's what's going on, I think, in the next decade. We're entering the era of super companies. Super companies will be the only companies, in my opinion, that survive. Super companies will attract the best talent. They'll have the best ideas, and they'll attract all the capital. There are no super companies yet, let's be clear. Super companies have to stay in business and make money. We have prospective super companies in this moment. OpenAI, Anthropic, Glean, pick your favorite AI application. It's a potential super company. We'll know in 10 years who makes it to the other side. We'll write business school cases about them and write books and stuff like that, right? But super companies are different. They convert inference, that's just Silicon Valley's fancy word for AI. They convert AI into business value, enduring business value, faster and better than competitors. CEOs of super companies, people like me, even old ones like me, are realizing that, first of all, inference is now going to be my second biggest expense after people. And that my job as a CEO and the management team is to convert that inference, convert that investment into enduring business value faster and better than my competitors. If I do that, I get to be a super company. I get to keep my best employees, I get to attract capital. Hopefully, eventually, I get to make money. Super companies are different on the inside. They are smaller. So I think that's obvious now to all of us. Their revenue per employee numbers are unheard of in terms of being high. They will make Google look like an inefficient company in 10 years. $2 million revenue per employee will become 5 or 7. for super companies. They're going to be very efficient. On the inside, they have 5 components. Some of them are obvious. They're jacked on AI. They're buying a lot of AI. There's a big cable out the back hooked up to a bunch of AI. They are deploying agents, call them whatever you want, agentic workflows, agents. They've been overhyped, obviously, but they're now arriving for work. And in the real world, we'll call those, of course, robots. They have super employees, super managers, and super leaders. This is a super company. It's smaller, jacked on AI, with 3 levels humanity doing the job a little differently. I want my companies to be super companies, obviously, and we're very explicit, therefore, in how to do that. For example, we have these competency, expectations, as you would expect, 4 levels of AI competency. We're small. My company's 45 people. We'll be maybe 100 by the end of the year at most. We're all experts or practitioners. I'm probably the only practitioner, to be honest. Everybody else in the company is under the age of 35 or at least 40 and are experts. There is a danger zone at that practitioner level. We'll go back to that. We train people on how to work with their AIs. We're very explicit in terms of here's how you should think about using your AIs for cognitive manual labor and for cognitive sort of high labor, right? Think about it as what you're outsourcing to AI, repetitive, boring, frustrating work. Buy yourself some time. The research is showing 7.5 hours per average knowledge worker per week saved. Your decision what to do with that time. Walk the dog, take a yoga class, make dinner for the kids, or work harder. You know what I want, but you decide what to do with that time. Make yourself a little more efficient, buy back some time. High leverage thought partnership. The decisions and moments that matter, can you introduce AI into your work life to optimize your decisions? We even have operating principles now. How to work with AI. We are really explicit about this. We tell employees, push back, critique, improve. Don't cut and paste. Every new employee goes through an onboarding where they're taught the operating principles. We're really serious about this shit, and look what's already happening. We're 3 years in, we're jacked on AI, and we're already losing our minds. And we're an AI company, and we talk about this all the time. And all of these 4 have happened to me in the last 4 weeks. Sure, I vibe coded a prototype, that's cool. Well, that was a waste of time because that feature is nowhere on the roadmaps. I don't know why you spent any time vibe coding that feature. You got A for initiative, yeah, but it was dumb, right? The second one, I'm seeing this all the time now. Here's a business case. Like, what? This is a $500 decision. You wrote a business case. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Right? You took your friction and you transferred it to me. That's what you just did. And you want props for it. Give me a break. Buy it and own the decision, or don't buy it. But don't send me in Slack a 3-page business case written by GPT. We have lots of options. No, we only had 1 or 2. You just came up with 7. GPT came up with 7, and now you put a meeting on my calendar to discuss all the options. Right? I got 8. This was last week. I got 8 agents working on this. This should be good. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. It could be shit too. Okay. Here's what's going on. My workforce, all workforces are splitting. I used to think 3 years ago, when, like all of us, I fell in love with ChatGPT Plus, obsessed for days. I used to think, it's clear what's going to happen. There'll be the AI class and the non-AI class. Those in the AI class will accelerate faster, have better economic opportunity, and so on. That made sense in that moment 3 years ago. Of course, we're all going to be in the AI class, assuming we're in the knowledge economy or close to it. This is what's happening. We're becoming drivers or passengers. Drivers manage their AIs. Prompt effectively, and sure, we're not going to always be prompting, but by the way, they've been telling us we're not going to prompt, and we're still prompting, right? So we need to know how to prompt, obviously. We're having conversations, not asking questions. We're choosing the right tools for the right tasks. We're smart enough about our AIs to know which AIs to use. We're verifying the output still because it's a crazy technology, still so unreliable, so smart and so stupid, clown and genius at the same time, right? And we own the decisions. I'm sure, well, all I'm going to ask, have you been in a meeting or conversation where someone has said, the AI says we should do this? Has anybody experienced that? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Okay. That's about a third of you. It'll be 100% by the end of next year. Next time we're together. It'll be 100%. Like, no. Right? Passengers defer. And by the way, it's not because they're lazy. It's not because they're necessarily unambitious. It's not because they don't have ideas. Maybe they're overworked. Maybe they think you want them to do this because you keep talking about AI and being more productive and being more efficient. So they keep outsourcing more stuff to AI, and then, they're on the like hamster wheel of AI. I don't think it's all out of laziness. It's not. Some of it's well-intentioned. It's just ineffective. This is how it looks like in real life. When you're chatting, you have a choice to make, right? You initiate the work. That is a key human moment. You decide what to work on. That's what you're paid to do. Work with your AI, collaborate with the AI. AI is going to generate something for you, and then you have a moment. There's a really critical moment. It's about 30 seconds. Are you going to cut and paste? Or are you going to stop and think? And then when you stop and think, your responsibility is to judge and decide. By the way, we're going to hopefully get a question or have time to talk about how the hell do we teach young people to judge and decide if they're not doing the work, if they're not getting the reps that they would have normally got, right? But there's ways we're going to do that. We're going to have to. Otherwise, we'll have no middle management in 15 years. And I think we'll need middle management in 10 or 15 years, as Zahara says. So there's a smart loop and a dumb loop. Take the smart loop. In an agentic world, right, the agentic version of this is you now architect the solution or the workflow, right? You map out the task, the steps in the task. That's the human. That's us. Right? We're still needed. This is the good news, right? AI completes, and then again, you have a moment. Set and forget. Go take a yoga class, or just take an extra 30 seconds and insert yourself back in the loop. Right? Human in the loop. Okay. Signs you're losing your mind at work. And this is sneaky, right? You got to remember, right? We know the business model of Silicon Valley. It is a business model of addiction. When ChatGPT says, "You want me to work on the PDF? Can I make the slides? Can I update the spreadsheet? What is it doing?" What are you doing? Yes, yes, yes. By the second yes, stop. That's a signal you are losing your mind. You are surrendering to GPT or Claude or Gemini. You're letting them do your job. If you are always hitting your work, unless you're one of the few, I was never this person, obviously, unless you're one of the few people that hits your work deadlines all the time and you're calm and composed, not anxious, sure. Okay, you're a freak of nature. Most of us, right, last minute, a little stress. Like if you're in a moment where, hey, I'm getting everything done, this is smooth, you're using AI too much. If you're knocking through your to-do list, show me someone who's knocking through their to-do list, and I'll show you someone using AI too much right now. If you feel relief when you're given a problem and you notice your feeling, notice how you feel when you start working with GPT. If you feel relief, just pay attention to that. I would suggest you're getting hooked and you're surrendering. What to do about it? Basic stuff. I used to say, I think we all said this 18 months ago, use AI to get V1. AI is an amazing blank page. Get off the blank page. V1 generator. Get started with AI. I've come to believe, and what we coach our teams now is the opposite. You must struggle for a few minutes on your own. Even if it's a 2 or 3 bullet points, even if it's something you know nothing about, just sit there for a few minutes and struggle just a little bit. That essentially will help you construct the prompt if you're going to go work with AI. But just struggle a bit. Sit quiet, in quiet uncertainty every morning for 15 minutes. It's a version, I think, of what Zahar is saying. It's not meditation, but I consider this work mindfulness. Just sit for 15 minutes. You've already been on the phone, I get that. I'm not talking about staying off your phone. I'm saying you're about to go to work. Look at your to-do list, look at your calendar, and just pause. Allow yourself to be human for 15 minutes. Finally, I think you should intentionally have AI-free decisions and AI-free work. I believe the workforce is going to split this way in the next 12 to 24 months. 75% of you will be passengers, 25% will be drivers. I think this is default best case. It's not good. Super companies, that's not going to work. We need efficiency and you need differentiation. If everybody is a passenger, what's that mean? None of our ideas are going to be unique. We'll have no differentiation in our business strategy or execution of our plan. AI passengers are not differentiated. All the work will look the same. All the ideas will be the same. So super companies need to be full of AI drivers. These are super employees. If we're not this kind of ratio, we're not going to be a super company. We're going to be a mediocre company because all of our ideas and all of our thinking will come from AI. We'll be undifferentiated. And we need managers to make sure this happens. This ratio sits with managers. The most important person in your organization right now, if you want to become a super company and not lose your organizational mind to AI, is the line manager. The people that people report to. So this is your job as a leader or manager, and it is your job as a parent. Do not outsource this. If you're an organization, do not outsource this to consultants or the head of AI or L&D or the head of HR. Do not outsource this to anyone. It's your responsibility and for the best and brightest on your team. And if you're a parent, please do not outsource this to the school or to teachers. If I had to pick the one person I have most empathy for in this moment because of AI are teachers. It is chaos in middle school, high schools, and colleges right now. Chaos. Teachers and school systems are struggling. Do not expect them to deal with this and manage your kid about how to use AI at school. You talk to kids about drugs, driving, porn, and social media. Talk to them about AI. You own that responsibility. Okay.
Wow, okay. Scary. There were some things I agreed with, some things I disagreed with. And by the way, I actually never seen Greg do that, so that this was legitimately. And we have actually both of our spouses here as somewhat witnesses that have seen us like vaguely discuss this, but not really, because we wanted it to be a real organic conversation. I have a follow-up question about this whole concept of the super company thing. And I'm not naming names. I'm happy to be spicy, but I'll just, I'll keep it mildly respectful. Because there are massive companies that dictate our economy right now that are running the show for the world. For the world. Their names might be in the room or around South by. They're on the streets. You might see them everywhere, here and there and everywhere. And it's literally everywhere. So the model you put up is so wildly different from the last, 100 years or what, since the Industrial Revolution. Are the companies, are current companies going to adapt and be super companies?
I think that 70% of legacy firms in language-intensive businesses or inside the knowledge economy in the blast radius of ever-improving AI will fail to transform. I think most will not make it. So, including some of the tech companies. And by the way, the public markets, not that investors are always right? But they're starting to vote. Google, in my opinion, Google's performance in terms of stock performance reflects the market's point of view that they will transform. They will be a super company in the future. And others not so much. We'll see. I think it's so hard. Once you're past 100 employees, once you're past 10 employees, 10 people, to work this way, it's really hard. We've got 40 people. We're an AI company. And I just hired our first head of AI. Because I'm frustrated at the lack of pace in terms of our ability and willingness to change the way we work. I think this is really hard. And just know that if you're a manager or a leader, you're signing up to do some hard work here, but I think we have to do it for the health of our organizations.
Okay. Do you have a question for me?
I do have a question for you, because you were long on theory.
You were long on cognitive theory, but what do we do besides meditate? How, which is, I get it, it's been popular the last few years. But what do we do? How do we hack the brain so we don't lose it?
Okay. I was urged to think about some practical advice, even though all of the data, by the way, is quite preliminary right now, right? As I mentioned. But I did give it some thought. And I want to position this in a way that I hope will be memorable. So I want this to be truly practical and a mindset shift, because the details might change. So I'm really saving all of us for the future. The details might change. And my mindset shift around this is going back to the whole think of your brain as a muscle, use it or lose it. I want you to really sit in that space and realize that after the Industrial Revolution, and we've had these debates over at the dinner table plenty of times, we lost skills. Our bodies changed as well, for obvious reasons. I want you all to think, how many of you all exercise, work out, do anything intentionally? Okay, it's literally every hand in the room. Okay, let's do a quick...
Answer no to that question.
Plenty of people! Really honest take, I am not, it doesn't come naturally to me. I don't love it. I've done some mindset work with, my husband's help. You've actually also helped motivate me, anyway, the only reason, anything that can get me to voluntarily and in an excited way move my body is mostly just me thinking about like Lucas will be like, do you want to lift your grandkids one day? And I'm like, yes. And it's like, okay, then lift it. And it's like, okay, fine. But that's about it, truly. I'm not that motivated about living longer. It's fine. It is what it is. Live a little, it's okay. It's just, I'm not saying for you, I'm saying for me, okay? So, but how many of you intentionally do exercise or do something fitness related? Now, let's imagine rewinding time and imagine you could have a conversation with your great, great, great grandparent and try to explain a Pilates class to them. I'm serious. Try to imagine explaining to them, so in the morning, I put on funny special shoes, and I just go running. And they're like, oh, where are you going? And it's like, no, nowhere. I'm just spinning around. So I sweat a little bit, and then I come back and take a shower. And they're like, why would you do that? Seriously, why would you do that? We invented gymnasiums, people. It is not endemic and natural. This is we've invented this shit because of all the things that the Industrial Revolution 2 revolutions ago took away from us. Skill, right? So we had to do it. And listen, it is your choice, in the same way that it is my choice at the end of the day. I could continue to be my squishy self, or I could continue, and it doesn't matter. There's no judgment necessarily, although, again, my take is I urge you all to not let your minds atrophy. And we don't have brain gyms yet. I do anticipate we will be creating some version of them. Hasn't been invented yet. We're going to have to figure this out as a species. But we're at the beginning of another revolution. And then some wacky things are going to happen. Some funky monkey things are going to happen, scientific term. And then we're going to have to figure it out, because there will be some negative side effects of those things. So I do think there's going to be this whole concept of, if you care about maintaining your brain and your mind, just like some people will care about maintaining their bodies in some way, then you're going to do something about it. And it's your choice. No one's going to force you. Maybe we'll have a PE class or some brain, maybe we'll figure out how to encourage it along the way, but it won't be forced. Probably. So it will be up to you. The choice is you are, Greg, I'll use your own language. You're all drivers. I push that you're all drivers now. Now, whether you want to stay drivers, that's maybe on you. And practically speaking, if you were to, for now, we don't have the brain gym, so you're going to have to do this at home. We're going to be doing like body weight exercises, so to speak, for the mind. And my 2 suggestions are to focus on 2 neural networks inside of the human brain. One of them is called the attention network, or the ANT, if you want to take note of this to look into it later. And the other neural network is something called the default mode network, or the DMN. So you have the ANT and the DMN. These are 2 very important neural networks inside of the human brain. The ANT is responsible for your executive function, your decision making, your attention span, your cognitive control. It's essentially it's the director here. It's the thing that gets you to say, I'm going to focus on you. I'm going to focus on you. I'm going to focus on you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You're not going to want to lose that ability. So if you don't want to lose that ability, you'll have to exercise it. You'll have to exercise it. You'll have to work on it. And the other, the DMN, the default mode network, is almost the opposite of the ANT. It's the mind-wandering neural network. It's daydreaming. It's boredom. It's actually, I'm plus oneing one of your suggestions, Greg. It's that, just sit. Sit in the fog. Stare off at the wall and just let your mind go where it goes. No stimulation. Just let your mind wander. Just let your mind wander. How many of you are creatives, by the way? Okay. The creatives in the room understand this, I think, better than those of us in either science or tech, because I think we over-index on that ANT, that attention network. But the creatives know this. You all know you need both. That you need to sit, you need to kind of load up the problem and the thing that you might want to create and the problem you're trying to solve, and you need to sit in that creative space, and you need to let it simmer and to be bored in it. And then at some point, you'll come up with the aha, and you'll be like, now I execute. Now I need to get all my neural resources and start doing and get that bias towards action, and you need both. So that would be my suggestion. It would be to use your brain gym at home, be bored, let your mind wander, get that DMN active, and then also get that attention network, the ANT active, every day, a little bit every single day. That would be my suggestion. Let's do questions. Changing the power of control over to you guys.
Thank you both. This has been amazing. My brain is spinning. Or is my neural network spinning? I don't know. If you had the opportunity to go into the C-suite, both of you, and ensure that there's a 1-hour conversation that you'd want to engage a C-suite in a company, what would be the topic that you would want to discuss? And then I guess maybe related to that, Greg, is your point about middle management. What would you tell them as a C-suite executive that they need to do to drive the driver-passenger ratio appropriately?
All right, here's how I think about this. Think C-suite only right now. It's all about their age. If they're 55 plus, ask them to step aside. And I would say, listen, guys, or gals, whoever, like pickleball, golf, pick your sport, go. Unless you're really going to be serious in this moment about this.
I'm 54.
Oh yeah, I'm 64. I'm 58. Okay, I'm 64. I get it. Listen, the worst thing our leaders are doing right now are doing neither. Like, get in the fucking game and help out here, or get off the field. That's when I get hours with CEOs, and I get plenty of time with CEOs and boards, that's what I say. The details don't matter. This is not it's hard, it's not rocket science. Transformation, like, we'll figure this out. This is all about, are you serious about this? Do you want to be around in 10 years, or you want your company to be around? Like, get in the game, or make room for someone else. Yes, sir.
So my name is Don. I'm a cognitive scientist as well, but study social cognitive neuroscience from the Max Planck Institute for Biological Cybernetics in Germany. So I want to come back to your question. First of all, really, thanks a lot for the deep, enlightening, and very funny conversation. You asked, what can we do? And you answered, we need a brain gym, right? I wanted to challenge that a little bit by saying, actually, we already do have brain gyms. And the biggest brain gym is actually people interacting with people, because our ANT and DMN is both active when we interact. And I think the inherent value in it is that we can ask ChatGPT or the AI only the things we know that we don't know, the known unknown. But we can never ask something unknown, because we don't even know that we don't know, right? So how do humans get to know this and become drivers? We do this by meeting other people who show us, teach us the unknown. So I think also from your data, when you showed loneliness is one factor, we need new ways of designing systems, interactions, how people open up and connect their brains with other brains. And I think that could be one solution in times of AI. By the way, I'm writing a book on the impact of AI on the brain, and that would be my answer. The question would be, what do you think about this?
I would say, by the way, beautifully said by a true cognitive scientist, so thank you for that. I agree with you 100%. That was data that we didn't want to necessarily dig into, but let me volley back, because by the way, we talked about this, and this is one of the notes really I wanted to end on today, which is like what the medium is the message. Sit with that. Meaning there's a reason why Greg and I said, let's have a debate. The medium, which is what we're doing, humans fighting each other, debating each other, saying, hey, no, I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna throw my volley to you, and this is what makes us human. And it's so good for your brain, as you said. And when you stop doing that, and you defer and you surrender, that's when you're losing it. That's when you're in the passenger seat. I would actually push, and I would say, that's when you're in the trunk of the freaking car. You're trapped in the trunk. You don't even know what's happening. You don't even know you're in the back of a Waymo and you don't even know where it's going.
You're in the trunk of the Waymo.
You're in the trunk of the Waymo. You're in the trunk of the Waymo. So I would say +1 to that advice, which is so we wanted to model what it is to be human in the age of AI, and it's this. South by is a beautiful example. We could have done this on Zoom. That's not fun. That's not good for you either. This is what's good for you. And my volley back to you, and my volley back to everybody else, Gen Z is spending 50% of their time alone. My students, about 70% of them say that they're not ready for a relationship, although they would like one, in the 18 to 24 age range. So although I would say, hell yes, we need to be interacting, we need to be debating, we need to be touching each other, all of the things, it's not happening though. It's happening less and less and less. And this is another concern of mine.
Thank you, sir.
So brain gyms should be not at home, but at places like this, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I think that partly answered my question, but I'm at an AI startup, and the way that you put that, the passengers and the drivers, was really interesting because I have that struggle, and I think people on my team have that struggle. But what scares me more, and the question I have, is as a parent to a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, I want my children to be drivers, but I also want them to have cognitive functioning and mind wandering. And do you have advice for how to approach that?
Why don't we save that?
Yeah.
Do we have time for one? Let's do one more question, and then we'll answer your question in the wrap up.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Question. Maybe the most important question.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. My question's actually similar to that. In being a driver and a passenger, if you find yourself in the trunk of the Waymo, is there the opportunity to reverse that? Is there a point of no return for our brain when you just become so deep in passenger that you can't turn that brain around? You don't have that function. You don't have, regardless of drive.
No.
Is there no point of return?
It is never too late. It is never too late. It is true that you're more plastic at a younger age, but we remain plastic. This has actually been one of the most exciting new findings of the 21st century in neuroscience, is that we continue to adapt.
Is there an age specifically when your brain is young?
You're good.
You're fine.
You're fine.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
everyone's good.
I have a 3-year-old.
She's talking to me. She's talking to me right now.
No, you're good too.
All right. Thank you both.
Yeah.
Thank you. We don't have any.
Okay, we can do that. We can do a wrap up.
We got to
Go
wrap.
for it.
Okay, I'm sorry, we have to wrap. We'll hang out.
Yeah,
after.
we're not going anywhere.
Thank you. Who's
Yeah.
going first? Oh, you
I
are.
am.
Okay.
All right. We were asked to set up some advice for different age ranges. So to some of your questions, this will hit there. If you're young, my number one recommendation is focus on building those muscles. I like that Greg used the word jacked. I want your brain jacked going in to your middle age and to your senior years. You're going to build that foundation now. I want you to start building the cognitive muscles, and not just all of the intelligence stuff that I was riffing on, which I recognize is my area of expertise, but also communication, socialization. You got to build those EQ muscles too. You need them. We need them for you. We need them. Next, age 35. You're in the middle. Welcome to the sandwich. It kind of sucks. The biggest issue I see with the middle in the West, okay? And I say this as a Middle Eastern gal. We've lost the village. They've taken it from us. We needed that thing. Parents are not thriving. It's hard. Don't lose your village, and if you feel like you don't have one, get one. Seriously, get one. And also, my humble opinion around mastery, by your middle age, you should pretty much know what your superpower is and what you're best at. And I'd like you to stay there 50% of the time, and the other 50% keep challenging yourself. All right? Lastly, if you're in the 55, redefine your purpose, because purpose is a non-negotiable. And I mean that from a psychological and data-driven lens. When human beings lack a sense of purpose, the brain begins to atrophy. So I don't care for the word retirement, and this is something Greg and I mostly agree on. Retire from what? Vacation from what? It's life. Welcome. Breathe. Live it. What do you mean? So redefine your purpose. You got to do something and contribute. Stay connected and work with younger generations because you have a lot to offer.
My advice. Now, I live in a bubble for sure. We live in San Francisco, and obviously live in that kind of tech startup world. But 2 people in the last couple days told me that they had kids drop out of school at freshman or sophomore to go work at a startup. Not necessarily AI, but I mean, I think that's the right thing to do if you're not committed. Like, commit to school or get out. Make a lot of stuff. Don't generate a lot of shit. Make a lot of stuff with AI. Just keep building stuff. In anything, music, like, business plans, whatever, like make stuff. Be super, it's not that hard to be in the top 25% of your class. It isn't. You'll need to be. We'll all need to be. Just look around you in your team and say, who's in the top quarter, and I will be there every year for the foreseeable future. One superpower. Human superpower. Hone that. It doesn't have storytelling, sure. Okay, maybe. But maybe just getting teams aligned. You're amazing at that. Maybe it's presentation skills. Maybe it's writing. Hone that one human superpower. Keep working it. You will be so valuable. You'll be jacked on AI, and you'll have one human superpower. Live under your means. Let's just build some resilience. Who knows what's going to happen? Every AI predictions have been made at South by, including ours, are going to be wrong. Right? We're all full of shit. We know that. So just get some resilience and get some financial resilience. Okay, 55, I talked about it. Don't be one of these CEOs saying, oh, let's go all in on AI. I use it to help with my daughter's homework. That's lame. You use it at work. Show, don't tell. Or get off the field. And don't be one of these people adopting one of 2 narratives, hype or doom. It's incredibly unhelpful to the rest of us. You're going to scare us or lull us into complacency. It's bullshit. Don't do it. We have to go through the messy middle together, and as a leader, you have a responsibility to add some value in this moment. So don't walk around saying it's going to cure cancer and we're going to be on the beach collecting UBI checks, and don't say it's going to kill us all. Just nonsense. Don't do it. Final thoughts. I go first.
Ooh.
Just be at the front of the bike. It's a tandem. They're the fucking co-pilots. We're the pilots. Be in the front of the bike.
This is my favorite quote. I tell every student of mine, any class I teach, I find a way to weave this in. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. It is important to be aware. It is important to keep thinking. It is important to engage. It is important to ask questions. It is important to not lose our minds in this process. And what would be painful, and this might be in all of the differences of opinion that Greg and I have around, super companies and how everyone needs to be using it and blah, 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 all of the things. The one space where I think there is some agreement is around intentionality, because you have to intentionally decide to be in the front. You got to pick your seat, driver versus passenger, or in the trunk of the Waymo. You got to pick your seat. And that's what I would say too. My parting thought is, don't forget you have agency here. Don't forget that you have agency. We always have choice. We always have choice. We're choosing every single day who we're going to be in the future, and we're choosing every single day how our brains and our minds and our souls are going to keep propelling us into the future. So be in the front of the bike, I guess. And with that, thank you all so much for your attention. And we really want to say, keep thinking.